Hello, everybody, and welcome to HardAssetsInvestor.com. I'm Mike Norman, your host. We're here at the CME Group in New York, and I am with Anthony Grisanti, who is a member here and also one of the stars of CNBC's Futures Now. Anthony, thanks very much for being on the show.
Mike, great to be here. Great to be with you.
Now, I want to talk to you about natural gas. Last time we spoke, we really concentrated more on oil. We're coming into summertime. Usually a pretty high natural gas demand part of the year, electricity generation, air conditioners, stuff like that, and just the general price trend. I mean, we have seen natural gas creeping higher slowly, moving back to 3-year highs. How does it look to you?
It looks like it's going higher from here. You mentioned last summer, or you mentioned the summer or the cooling season,
right.
And what happened last year, there was a big pull on supplies. That carried over to the winter, as everybody knows. Right now, we're about 750 billion cubic feet less in supply than we were last year at this time.
Wow.
So we're going to need to build every single week quite a bit for us to make it up going into next winter. So if we have a very warm summer coming up and we use a lot, we're not going to make up that deficit.
Now, what is the reason for that drawdown? I mean, that's pretty significant.
It's a lot of conversions. A lot of coal-fired plants have gone to natural gas. A lot of houses have gone to natural gas. And in fact, a lot of apartment buildings have gone to natural gas. EPA put out regulations a few years ago stating that you couldn't use heating oil, the dirty heating oil, to heat apartment buildings, especially here in New York City. In my building, as a matter of fact, we're doing the conversion right now, so we're switching to natural gas. So a lot of demand is coming from places that you wouldn't think of.
So the number one demand is electricity demand, correct? And then I guess it would be industrial after that?
Absolutely, you're correct. Electricity generation would be the number one demand.
Now, you and I have spoken in the past about the whole export scenario where we have seen a doubling of exports, and in fact, the administration is pretty much on that trend of opening up new natural gas export markets, and this is causing the price to slowly trend towards the world price, right?
That's absolutely correct. I think, if I may add a personal thought, I think it's a hugely bad idea at this point. We're still recovering in our economy from the recession that we had in 2008, 2009. In fact, there's been a resurgence of manufacturing jobs in this country, and the reason why that is because of cheap natural gas. And if we start exporting natural gas, you brought it up correctly, our price will trend to the world price.
What is the world price?
The world price is about $14 to $18 per million BTUs.
Wow.
It depends where you are in the world to pay that price.
So that's about 3 to 4 times higher
Absolutely.
than what we pay here.
So I could see us maybe going up to $10, $11, $12, which would be records for this contractor for natural gas here, and that world price dropping down. But it doesn't benefit us, obviously.
Yeah, obviously, and we talk about energy independence, but yet we have this bonanza and we're shipping it out to foreigners.
And here it is, Mike. We haven't gained that independence yet. We haven't even tapped the potential of natural gas usage in this country yet. We've just scratched the surface at this point. As I said, the EPA regulations are going to be a lot more apartment buildings are going to have to switch from heating oil to natural gas. We haven't tapped that yet. And then if you look at last winter, we had problems with supply at points because we were using so much.
Now, what about shale gas, fracking, these new methodologies of getting the gas that we didn't have, 10, 15 years ago? Isn't that an area where we could see new supply?
Absolutely, and you do every day, and I mean that's where the supply comes from. But there's also problems with that too. The state of Ohio came out with a report saying that minor earthquakes have been proven to be caused by the fracking of natural gas. So if we decide to export and all of a sudden you have, say, a restriction on fracking, you're going to see prices rocket even above the world price.
Do you think there will be some restrictions on fracking? I know a lot of people are against it, but right now it seems to be ongoing, and there hasn't been any legislation to curtail it.
No, there hasn't, and I don't see it because, as I said, it was the state of Ohio that came out with the report. The federal government hasn't said anything about it yet, and let's face it, there's big money to be made in natural gas fracking right now, and that really the side of the market is on that big money.
So where are we, when we're talking about exports, what nations now have export relationships? I think it's Japan, right? What else?
There's another one, Indonesia. Shell, I believe, just opened a liquefied natural gas plant in Indonesia, so they're going to start exporting it. So it is starting to come. And there's a plant in Maryland that should be online in about 8 or 9 months. And really, after that plant is online, then it's going to wait for the regulations and see if the federal government will allow it.
Now, where is the price currently? It's in the $4 range?
Right now it's $4.50, $4.60. It depends what day you come into the market. So it's double what it was 18 months ago, and the consumer's been able to handle that price so far. But if we go much higher from here, it'll definitely be a strain on our economy.
So if we're headed up to maybe $6 or $7, that would start to have an effect and impact, you'd say?
I completely think so, because you have a limited supply of dollars to spend. Everybody does. And if you're spending more, say, on electricity, or more on heating your home, more on cooling it, that's less that goes into the economy.
But it seems like what you're saying, given the fundamentals, given the demand, given the export situation that we have right now, that we're looking at higher prices trending in that direction, correct?
Absolutely, we are. And the flip side of all this is, too, that a lot of analysts will say that, well, if we allow exporting of it, that'll spur more production of it. But I think the prices will go up before the production meets the demand.
What about economic activity? How does that factor in? I mean, we recently saw first quarter of this year negative growth, -1%. Is there an economic tie in there? If the economy is slowing down, will we see prices come down?
Absolutely, you will. Natural gas is probably a lot like gasoline, where as the price gets higher, people find ways. Maybe you won't cool your house to 72. Maybe you'll put it at 74. So there is ways to kind of conserve it, but there's definitely a basis of use that will always be there, and you can't conserve your way out of it.
All right, you heard it. Can't conserve your way out of it. Anthony Grisanti, always a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's it for now, folks. This is Mike Norman from the CME Group here in New York saying see you next time. Bye-bye.